Hey y'all, so today I'm going to be doing a discussion on book buying bans. Right now, BookTube seems to be very split on its opinion on book buying bans. Half of BookTube is like, I want to have a zero TBR, I'm going on a book buying ban, and whether that book buying ban is really stringent, meaning they cannot buy any books at all, or whether it's like, I'm only going to buy a certain amount of books or like less books than I read. A large chunk of people on BookTube are on book buying bans. And then there's another large group of people on BookTube that don't really mind having a large number of unread books on their shelves and don't really see the point of going on a book buying ban. As some of you may know, I am currently on a book buying ban and I have been on that ban for 2 months. I'm about halfway through. Hopefully I have about 2 months left. However, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle of these two camps. I definitely have zero intentions of getting my TBR all the way down to zero. On top of the fact that I don't mind not having 0 books on my TBR, I also know that it's really not feasible for me because regardless of how quickly I read, I'm still going to want to buy books, and I don't think I could go long enough without buying books to get my TBR down to 0. I just could not do it. Maybe if I slowly and steadily bought like a few less books than I read, I might be able to get it all the way down, but getting it down to 0 just isn't something that's super important to me. I would rather have a small TBR than try to get it all the way down to 0 and not be able to buy any books. And I tried to be pretty reasonable with myself on my book buying ban because honestly I don't think that I could go an entire 4 months without buying any books. I feel like if I restricted myself to 0 books at all, I would eventually just decide I couldn't do it anymore and I would go on some like book buying spree. So that's why I decided to allow myself to buy the new releases that I was really excited about, because those are ones that I've been looking forward to for quite a while and I know that they're ones that are not going to just sit on my shelves for forever. However, I do think that there is a point for me when a TBR can become too large. As it currently stands for my personal library, my read and unread books are about 50-50, with my read books only slightly outweighing my unread books. And for me personally, I think that this is just a bit too much. I think the sweet spot for me would be somewhere around 25% or 30% of my library being unread, but not almost 50-50. That's just a massive amount for me, and it's just more than I want to have unread in my library. So that brings me to one of the main points of this video, which is why am I on a book buying ban? And the first reason is the one that I just mentioned. I feel like the percentage of read versus unread books in my library is way out of whack and needs to be fixed a little bit. However, there's also another pretty big reason why I personally am on a book buying ban, and that is to curb my impulse buying, because I am an impulse buyer and it can be a problem. I can't count the number of times that I have seen someone talk about a book in a video, gotten excited about that book, gone and purchased that book, and then just let it sit on my shelves and never got to it. And it'd be different if this was something that happened maybe once or twice, but this is something that has happened on several occasions and I just need to curb it. And for me, a book buying ban is a really great way to do that because it lets me see what books hold my attention for long periods of time. And I'll use my current ban as an example. Right now, both on Amazon and on my Goodreads, I have lists of books that I want to buy once my ban is over. And these lists actually serve 2 different purposes, especially the Amazon one. Because on the Amazon one, I can add books to my wish list and it almost kind of feels like I'm buying them, so I get that kind of like satisfaction of getting a book, but I haven't actually purchased it. And secondly, it allows me to have a pretty complete list of the books that are currently interesting me and the ones that I really want to get, and it allows me to kind of go through and change it or add or subtract books every few weeks or so, just to see if books are actually keeping my attention for long periods of time. And there are definitely some books that I added to these lists at the beginning of May when I was kind of interested in them, but have now been taken off because I wasn't quite as interested in them as I thought I was. However, on the opposite side, there are also books that I added to this list like right at the beginning of May that are still on the list and are ones that I desperately want to buy immediately upon ending my ban. And so I can be pretty confident that once my ban ends, if those books are still on the list and I've been excited about them for 4 or more months, I know these are ones that I am legitimately excited to read and ones that I will not just let sit on shelves for months and months and possibly years. And this whole idea about being excited about books actually brings me to an idea that Ariel Bissett talked about quite a while ago on her channel. I can't remember the exact title of the video, but I will find it and link it down in the description. Basically, in the video, she talked about large TBR piles, and she talked about the different reasonings that people give for why they have such large TBR piles and why they don't find issue with it. And her main argument against allowing your TBR pile to grow and grow and grow is that even if you see your books as this like collection of things that you really love, your excitement for books definitely goes down over time. For example, you could buy a book and be really excited about it and think that you're not going to get to it immediately, but you're going to get to it eventually, so it's not an issue that you're buying it now. But then your excitement goes down and eventually you've left it sitting on the shelf for years and years. And you've therefore wasted money on a book that you're probably never going to read at this point. And like I said, this is the exact problem that I have with my impulse buying. I'll buy a book, be excited about it, not get to it immediately, and then it just sits. And my excitement about it goes down and down and down until I just decide to get rid of it and have wasted money on a book that I'm never going to read. So book buying bans not only help me curb buying books that I'm probably never going to read, but it allows me to kind of sift through the books and buy just the ones that are actually really interesting to me. So yeah, those are really the main reasons that I personally decided to go on a book buying ban. I don't mind having a sizable TBR on my shelves as long as it is in a good proportion with the number of read books I have on my shelf, and I really want to use my money smarter and not spend money on books that I will lose excitement for and never read. So that is it for this discussion on book buying bans. Let me know down in the comments where you stand on book buying bans. Do you want to get your TBR down to 0, or do you not mind having a ton of unread books on your shelves? I really wish that I didn't mind so that I didn't have to go on a book buying ban, but I do mind. So yeah, are you on one of the two sides, or are you somewhere in the middle like me? As always, I will leave links down in the description to my blog, Twitter, and Goodreads. Please add me as a friend on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!